valuable content. Oh, amazing. Great. So the recording is starting now. Wonderful. That is great timing. So, as I said, whether you're new to Big Give or you've taken part in the Christmas challenge before, I'm sure the match funding campaign will obviously be new to everyone. I'm sure that you will leave this session with valuable context, clarity, and confidence. So, over to you, Sahil. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And yeah, look forward to a really valuable session.
Thanks, Olivia, to SIDCN for inviting me to speak today. I just want to say I may be coughing through this presentation, just getting with chest infection, so please bear with me. But yeah, we'll make it through. Just hopefully everyone can see the slideshow. Um, yeah, just quickly on what Olivia was saying before. Yeah, last year our Christmas Challenge campaign was our biggest ever, raised £57 million, and uh, a quarter of that, or a quarter of the participating charities, were international development charities. So we understand the importance of their work, and we really want to get as much funding out there to international development charities as possible. Um, so in this session, I'll give a very brief overview about Big Give and the benefits of match funding. And then what I'll really focus on is just giving application top tips, and then sorry, how to get involved. As Olivia mentioned, um, obviously the Christmas Challenge is always open to international development charities, but this year the Small Charity Week has been opened up for the for small international development charities. So that's going to be a great opportunity for people to get involved with, and I'll have a bit more information about that in the presentation. So, to anyone new to Big Give, we are a digital match funding platform. We organized match funding campaigns for charities, and all of our campaigns are digital fundraising campaigns. So, we should support charities by showcasing your work to both donors and philanthropists. Our philanthropists who provide the match funding, we call them champions. Through our campaigns, you can take online donations, and through the collective movement of our campaigns, we've seen that charities have been able to increase their online visibility. They've managed to increase their profile and also gain new supporters through our campaigns. And yeah, and also for all of our campaigns, we organize training webinars. So it's also an opportunity for you to develop your digital fundraising skills as well. So yeah, since 2008, we've raised £427 million for good causes. And this year, just focusing on this audience, the two big campaigns you can get involved with, as mentioned, are Small Charity Week and the Christmas Challenge. The applications for Small Charity Week close on 11th of February, 5 p.m. So please do get your applications in by then if you're interested in applying. So just a quick overview of the benefits of match funding, and this is based on after every campaign, we ask charities to complete a post-campaign survey, just to detail their experiences of taking part in the campaign. And so this is based on both quantitative and qualitative data, but we have seen charities develop their resilience. So it's allowed them to develop their existing income streams, but also grow new ones, grow new audiences through our match funding campaigns. As I mentioned, we run training webinars for all of the campaigns that we run. So this gives you the opportunity to develop your digital fundraising skills. So we partner up with organizations like the Directory of Social Change, and like our key stakeholders for campaigns like the NCVO and Global's Make Some Noise, who are all experts in the field and can deliver those webinars and that expertise to you. And all of our campaigns are a collective movement. So we find that as charities join together in one bigger voice, it can help increase their each individual profile. So For example, we often see the Christmas challenge trend on Giving Tuesday on the social media channels because all of the charities are talking about it, and it just helps cut through some of that fundraising noise at key times of the year. So we find that that collective movement can really make a big difference in terms of raising the public profile of charities and what they're working for. And we have 87% of charities are satisfied with the rate of the return on investment for our campaigns. So we do have a quite high satisfaction. We obviously want to keep increasing that, and we do take feedback from charities very seriously, and we try and like always looking to improve and improve our campaigns and how they run. Um, so that is just the benefits of match funding and what we've seen. But I will just focus more on the application top tips because I imagine a lot of you are interested in applying in Small Charity Week and Christmas Challenge, and just want to share about how you can make your application as best stand out as much as possible. So just with our campaigns, so what you can apply for is projects. So you can apply for a specific project. So this could be like a larger project or for continued work for the same project that you've applied for in previous years, or you can apply for core costs. Um, so it's really up to you about what you're applying for. If you're applying for core costs, we would just ask you to consider how you word your application. So you should be rather than saying, oh, you need money for salaries or you need money for this, really focus your application on the impact and legacy of your charity's work as a whole, and that will help just bring your application alive if you're applying for core costs. For the Christmas challenge, we do consider applications for capital costs. So make sure you're focusing on the impact that this will have on your beneficiaries. Just a flag for the Small Charity Week campaign, we aren't considering applications for capital costs. So that's just something to bear in mind if you're applying for the Small Charity Week campaign, so that you can only apply for project or core costs. So, in the application, we'll ask you various questions. Hopefully, it shouldn't take more than an hour or two to complete the application, but there's some things that you can do to make sure you're really answering the questions. So, we will ask you about what you're raising funds for, what we say is what is the problem and how you're solving it. So, it's really important you have a clear statement of need. So you can define the issue you're addressing and who benefits your work. It's great if you're able to bring in a bit of quantitative and qualitative data to back up that statement of need. So it can just reinforce that for us and our assessors about how much the work you're doing and how much there is a need for it. Um, we ask you about what the impact of your work is and how you intend to measure it. This is really important for us to understand. Obviously, like how that money will be spent and how you will be measuring that impact on an ongoing basis. So please do focus on that measurement plan and make sure it's detailed as possible and make sure it's appropriate for what you're raising funds for. The worst thing is, I think, when we see one or two lines in that measure, in that question about how you intend to measure the impact, and we really want a real detailed answer about like both the quantitative and qualitative data you're going to be gathering to measure that impact. So we do ask you about how the money will be spent. So again, be as detailed as possible. So applications that showcase how they plan to raise funds gives our champions, our assessors, a confidence that you can reach your fundraising target and that you that the money will be spent in those key areas. I understand, obviously, if you're raising money for core costs, it's a bit harder to provide that detail, but rather than just saying core costs, just provide a breakdown of what this could potentially include of how the money will be spent. And then lastly, we do ask you to provide information about your track record in digital fundraising. and also previous success in delivering similar work. So this is both for us to assess how likely is you are to reach your target. If you've never done digital fundraising, for example, and you're asking £20,000 of match funding, uh, for us, then it's a bit of a red flag that will say, can the charity really achieve this target if they've never done digital fundraising before? So yeah, highlight that experience, and then also yeah, in terms of the actual work you're raising funds for, just also make sure that is detailed as possible in terms of what your previous track record in as a charity of delivering that work. So obviously, there are many AI tools out there. You can use AI to, I would say, draft your application. So what you can do is use an initial basis to formulate your answers, but then I would really work on rewording those answers so it is in your own voice. Um, we are seeing more and more applications written by AI, and they do sort of start standing out because of the language that is used. It doesn't seem like it's written from someone working at the charity who has a real passion for your work. So I think, yeah, use AI to help you formulate those answers, but then the best way to show your passion for the work that you're doing is by using your own voice, so turning those initial words from things like ChatGPT into your own words. Make sure, obviously, you proofread and edited your application. Not only proofread it by yourself, but get your colleague, or even I would say get someone that doesn't even work for your charity. Get like a family or friend to read your application, and just so they can give you feedback on what you've written makes sense to them as a layperson. Um, we don't expect perfection. Um, we also understand small charities are very capacity restrained. So we are taking that into account more and more. But just make sure your real world impact shines through and keep it clear, direct, and engaging as possible. So, some useful questions you can ask yourself before starting your question so you can set a realistic target. So, what I went back to a few slides ago about what is your experience in digital fundraising? What is your experience in fundraising? Is this your charity's first big give campaign? Um, if the answer to those questions is you've never taken part in a big gift campaign, or you don't have any experience in digital fundraising, I would definitely say go for a very conservative target, just so this is your first attempt at a big gift campaign to make sure you can unlock all of the match funds available for your campaign. So, and maybe on the side of caution. How confident are you with digital fundraising? Have you done similar types of campaigns before? One thing to assess is how big is your current supporter base, and what is the potential for that to grow? So again, if you have a small supporter base, we would definitely again say go on a very conservative target for your first application. And then what we've seen is charities that have started from sort of smaller campaign targets, but over the years they've managed to grow those campaign targets because of their sort of experience in digital fundraising and doing the campaigns year on year. So there's no shame in going for a smaller target on your first attempt. And also, what is your annual income? We do have a rule in the application that charities can't apply for match funding, which is more than 10% of their annual income as per the last filed accounts with the Charity Commission or OSCA or the Northern Ireland Charity Commission. So just bear in mind if you are going for a high target in relation to your income, how likely are you to be able to achieve that target? Things to remember when you're filling out the application. We do highlight in the application that some of the answers you give will be used on your campaign page. So you should make that be aware of that when you're filling out the application, because once you submit the application, you cannot edit the wording. So you um, want to make sure that the words you put in your application for those particular questions are you are comfortable with donors seeing that sort of that wording on your campaign page, which is what they're going to see when they make their donation. You can have a look on our website to see what other charities have done on their campaign pages and how they've used their wording. So have a maybe do a bit of research, for example, from the Christmas Challenge campaign last year, just to see how other international development charities framed their campaigns. And case studies. We have a list of case studies on our website. If you go to our website and click on, I think it's click on resources, and then there is a page full of case studies. Some of them are from international development charities. So again, have a look at them. But even the case studies from charities that are not working in the international development sector, there's some really great ideas in those case studies about how they framed their marketing for their campaign and what tactics they use to engage with donors. So it's definitely a really useful resource. So definitely recommend tapping into that. So hopefully that QR code should work. And finally, we in the application we ask charities to upload media. Don't worry about that if you don't have that ready. You will be able to add media assets before and during the campaign. And we don't assess the media when we review the applications. Obviously, we know that a lot of charities may not have that ready when they're submitting their application. So don't worry if you don't have those pictures or videos ready. And in the application flow, we do have resources and guides to help you complete your application. So please do refer to them. And if you're still unsure about anything in the application, you can contact Big Give with any questions that you may have. So you can get involved by having a look at our campaign calendar. I believe this slideshow will be circulated with everyone afterwards, so you can look into these hyperlinks. Um, just going back to the Small Charity Week campaign, just something to be aware of because we know that the demand for the international pool of match funding will uh, the demand for it will outstrip the available funding that we have. What we have said is that we will be prioritizing the charities working in the lowest quartile of the UN Development Index. So that if you go to the Small Charity Week page on our website, it will provide a link to the countries that are in the UN's lowest quartile list of the development index. That's not to say if you are working in countries that sit just outside this, we won't consider your application. It's just that we will prioritize first the applications that are working in those countries first. So that's just something to think about as well. Um, that is it for the presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sahil. That was so, so helpful. And yeah, we really appreciate you giving your time. Thank you, especially when you're not feeling well. And yeah, what an incredible opportunity for so many small charities. And I guess one thing that we just really love about the Big Give, which you kind of did touch on, Sahil, is that the Big Give does really listen to feedback. And we, as a as an organisation, but also lots of our members did feedback about international development charities not being included last year, and the fact that you've been able to find funding and enable so many of us to take part this year is really amazing.